Simon Fogal, how are you?
I am all right, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm all right. You've just interrupted my tweeting. I was trying to tell the world about all the exciting stuff on Digital Food Week.
I know you can carry on quickly. You've got 2 minutes.
Yes. Have I got 2 minutes?
No. Well, we're live now, so.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I think these are not going to be very interesting. Me just tweeting.
No.
I'm not that boring, but I'm more interesting than just watching me tweet. Surely. So this is very exciting because we've been together today in that very studio where you are right now, preparing for Digital Food Week TV. Which look how nice it looks behind you. That sofa's going to see some things this week. All good foodie stuff. But I'm excited to be a part of this because Digital Food Week is a really innovative and very progressive approach to the indie food scene. And obviously it's something which the indie food scene needs right now because it's had a tough old time in the past 12 months.
It really has. It's not just indie. We're trying to bring hospitality together, especially after the pandemic. Recovery will require all the hospitality to rejuvenate the city and the suburbs. Obviously, there's not that many branded restaurants in the suburbs, but the city centre is kind of the place where we need to focus a bit of time and effort to get people back into the city. Yeah. So we came up with the idea of Chapter 81. Back in lockdown 1, we had some branding done, and I was just I really wanted to do something interesting, using obviously technology to discuss food, but it's just hasn't been able to happen until now. And it felt right doing it this week because obviously indoor hospitality, thanks to Boris today, has announced that obviously we can open from Monday. He likes to give us a week of prep, obviously. So next Monday, the 17th, indoor hospitality opens once again. So we thought we'd spend a week having some chats with, we had a bakery chat earlier on today, which was really interesting. And then we've got regular chats throughout the week. But also the reason why you're here is came up with the idea of an online TV show. So thanks for joining us on that.
It's a pleasure. I'm very, very excited about it. I think because one of the things that Leeds has really shown itself to be, both in terms of the indies and the larger parts of hospitality, is just that it's got so much to offer. And I think what we need to be doing is really shouting about it. I think one of the things about Leeds, whether it's food or music or arts, is sometimes it doesn't want to shout too much. It maybe doesn't want to be seen as too braggy about what it has. But right now it needs to be, right? Because there is so much on offer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we need to be louder and prouder than we've been, totally. And I guess that's one of the reasons with the TV show, we can throw in lots of things. So I guess tomorrow night at 6:30 this time we'll be airing episode 1. We've been doing some testing today, hence the studio light. I should have got rid of this. It's quite annoying.
No, it looks good. It looks authentic.
I mean, it's just branded, isn't it? We're not sponsored by Godox, but so it's just trying to get as much and as many people involved in this week as possible. On the TV show, we've got about 45 businesses involved over 5 shows, and it's been a mammoth task over the last couple of weeks to bring that together, really.
One of the things as well that we found, the idea was to start out with maybe a half an hour show, but there's too much to get through, Simon. And one thing that we've also realised is that there is so much more we can go at. I mean, there really is a lot of rich pickings out there, and this show and Digital Food Week is really just scratching the surface of what's out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we got the idea, 2 weeks of putting it together, which isn't a long time when you've got 5 hours of TV, probably. Yeah. But Leeds is obviously I love Leeds. Running Leeds Indie Food, we started back in 2014 as an idea. First festival was 2015. Last year we couldn't run a physical festival, and this year we're kind of not running a physical festival because we feel like we should be pushing people to shop local and support their indie. So following Digital Food Week from the 17th of May, we're just going to be promoting for 2 weeks heavily. We're trying to encourage the indies in Leeds to collaborate with each other. So doing special menus. So we've had quite a few submissions, which I've got to go through at some point this week and tell people about them, what they can eat. That's like special menu items is what we ask. So they collaborate with another indie, and it's quite an organic thing. People want to work with their neighbour or someone else from another suburb, and yeah, so that's where we're going with Leeds Indie Food, and then who knows what will happen later in the year.
Yeah, that collaboration is something which has really, I wouldn't say surprised me because I knew it was there, but in terms of the food scene, it is very supportive. You might think because there is so much of it out there, there would be a competition, and sometimes it would verge on the unhealthy. But people really are keen, because it's good for everybody, right, to support one another, to try and push this whole thing forward in Leeds.
Yeah, I think you found it in the pandemic. Surprisingly, there's lots of WhatsApp groups with different, the beer guys talk about their WhatsApp group. The hospitality's got one, and it's kind of interesting how everyone's kind of pulled together and really showed that spirit during these times, like borrowing equipment or like trying to borrowing a canning machine at one of the breweries, or someone else canning their beer for them so they could actually survive. So it's kind of really interesting to hear all these stories, and that's one of the things we wanted to do with this week, really, is just to make sure there's some stories. Obviously, we can't involve everyone because there's hundreds and hundreds of indies. But yeah, like you said, we want to scratch the surface and hopefully continue to do this in the future and tell the story outside of Leeds.
Yeah. The other thing that's really coming through is, and you can't not talk about the pandemic without talking about how difficult it's been for people.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. And we've seen casualties, I guess, over the course of the year, but also how people really are flourishing now, excuse me, and taking the opportunity, whether it's something like outdoor dining, whether it's something like this that we're doing ourselves, people really are making the most of opportunities. And it feels to me, from the people we've been speaking to, that there is a real sense of optimism moving forward now.
Yeah, I mean, from going back a year, that the dreaded couple of weeks where the rules weren't that clear on what you could and couldn't do, and seeing people like Lane's Espresso become a grocery shop, and like just trying to do anything they can to survive, to city centre businesses in particular struggling because the footfall's just not there. I guess the suburbs have been a bit better, but obviously still not doing as well as they were before pandemic, but at least they've got the people working from home, going to them. And there's been some great innovation. And the chat earlier about baking, if anyone caught it, you can watch it now on digitalfoodweek.co.uk. I've just uploaded it. There's a chat, the amount of baking products and donuts and brownies and all that's come out of the pandemic, people swapping careers is really interesting.
Yeah. And I think as well that it also feels like people, me and you and those other people that use the restaurants, that use the hospitality industry, are also obviously really keen to get back. I mean, you've only got to walk past your nearest beer garden. You've only got to walk down Cool Lane or Merrion Street, even in Sidewoods rain, to realise just how desperate people are to get back out there, right, and make the most of what there is now.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love Leeds when that week of the 12th of April when we were allowed out. It was sunny. The whole week was sunny, and you walked through the city, and it felt like a different city. The alfresco dining or European model, whatever we want to call it, looks amazing. Like Coal Lane, even Greek Street, Merrion Street. Like Eat Greens, I'm pointing over there because they're just based out of on the other side of the road from the office. But yeah, they're little bit outside there. It's just people being able to do that. And yeah, we touch on it in the TV show, really, about how it has taken a pandemic to let the cafe licenses be fast tracked from a 3-month process to 24-hour approval. And it's like, right, we can change that now. What else can we change in the future to make it easier for people to operate under different circumstances?
Yeah, and I think on that we'll hear from the council who we've been speaking to, and people like Leeds, the Business Improvement District. And I just wonder whether you think that actually this will lead to permanent change. Now that big organisations like the council realise they can do stuff quickly, it doesn't have to be this long bureaucratic process. And they don't need to be fearful of change either, because we've seen actually that change has been really good for this city in that sense. Whether the future means there'll be more things like this, it'll be easier to do this kind of thing.
I think, they were working on pedestrianising a lot of the city centre anyway. I just think the pandemic's kind of speeded up the alfresco dining side anyway. But yeah, it's been crazy. And I think a lot of the bars and restaurants and hospitality scene really come together. Like I said before, I think one thing I was chatting to with the Tetley, I sit on the board at the Tetley advisory board, and we were chatting about the hospitality businesses that are coming back. I guess if you're a bartender and you haven't an outdoor space, you're an indoor bar, you won't have opened for like 12, 13 months.
Yeah.
So if your staff's been on furlough, like that whole, imagine you're a bartender and going to work not for 12, 13 months. It's like, how do I cut this lime? How do I, muscle memory we were talking about. But not just muscle memory, it's the anxiety to go back into work. It's the mental health stuff that mental health week, we need to be supporting the hospitality scene more and more. And there is a few things coming out from hospitality in Leeds, a few businesses. We were trying to get a few chats on that this week. We failed, but we will do it in the future because it's really important that the staff and the business owners in particular, like, get that support, because some of them have been through hell. I think we talked to Manjeet, but she doesn't talk about it. But last year she had a flood at Kirkstall, then straight into a pandemic, and imagine like the mental health on that, and just managing your staff as a business owner, putting them on furlough if they could and stuff. It's just crazy, and then we're like straight back into it now without a break.
Yeah. There is an extraordinary diversity in Leeds as well of those kinds of businesses, from the bigger to the smaller ones. And we're going to hear from those this week. I think that's one of the things that's reinforced in me how proud I am to be from this city as well. It's just how diverse it is in terms of its food and drink and hospitality offerings. So just talk us through a few of the people that we'll hear from and speak to this week as part of Digital Food TV.
Well, yeah, so the TV element, I guess there's two. So there's lunchtime chats, evening chats, and then there's the TV. So the TV, sorry, my blind's moving and the light is changing. Excuse.
All right.
That my blind is about to fall down. On the TV show, we're going to hear from so many people from street food segments. So we chat to more Little Red Food Truck, Luigi Street Food, Spud and Bros. Trying to think who the other one is. And we go to we send Larry Budd around some of the breweries in Leeds. So we got to 5 breweries.
Send him, like he didn't beg you to go around some of the breweries.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, go on then, I'll do that segment."
I'll do it if you give me beer.
And we should talk about Beth Parsons. She goes out and cooks with Ox Club, Manjeet's Kitchen. She goes to Harvey Nichols as well, the 4th floor restaurant. She goes along and tries to cook some of the dishes. Obviously, we don't have a kitchen in the studio to do live cooking, but eventually one day we might. Trying to think else. We have actual live guests. So we chat to Liz Cotton from Home, The Owl, and soon to open Cora. Eat Your Greens, Dan is going to join us on the sofa. Then we've got Ben Davey, the infamous Ben Davey, who's at Meatless Farm Company now, but was at Belgrave and Ox Club and Hedra House and all various things. So yeah, we've got.
Working for the Meatless Farm Company.
Yeah, there's so much. So much coming up. Yeah. I almost forget, but trying to think who else. Oh yeah, and then we have a big picture section, so that where we chat to Leeds City Council and Leeds Bid, and we chat to Phil Harrison, who runs a few nighttime bars, about his experiences during the pandemic. It's important to shout about those things as well. Yeah,
one of the other things which is I think really interesting and will open a lot of people's eyes is having Harry Johns from Holy Mountain Kitchen, making his way around the different suburbs, because it's very easy to fall into the trap that Leeds exclusively is just a city centre with all these amazing foodie destinations. But as we'll find out this week, actually, there's so much diversity out of the city centre as well.
Yeah, that's one thing we found during the pandemic. So Leeds Indie Food, when we were launching our festival, we became a directory. So we swapped our event pages for each business had a little page. And then we further enhanced that towards Christmas time with Buy Leeds, and we created an online directory called Support Your Local Indie Scene sort of thing. So from that, we realised how strong our suburbs have become in the last few years. So as part of that, Harry obviously has been doing his own little Instagram TV series, which is hilarious. So you should definitely check that out. So I've asked him to pop around 5 suburbs. You can only do 5. There's only 5 TV shows, but honestly, they are hilarious. Well, to watch on their own.
Yeah, they are very, very funny. There's some hilariously accidental bits involving animals and inclement weather and all kinds of stuff in there.
I've actually got a dog barking. I don't know where the dog barking.
Who's it? I didn't even know you had a dog.
I don't have a dog.
In the studio?
Some random dog. I don't know where that's come from.
One of the things I think as well has changed probably over the course of the pandemic is not just the food industry, but people's appreciation of it as well. I mean, we've obviously all eaten and drank our way through the pandemic. It's been the only thing that's gotten probably 90% of the people through it. And I think it's given us a newfound appreciation of what it means to have good food and good places to get that food from.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the at-home boxes through the pandemic kept a lot of people going financially, as well as the staff morale. So trying to think, I ordered quite a few. Heaney and Mill were the ones that I think were straight on it. They're based up in, I guess it's Headingley, Far Headingley, wherever you want to call that. But and then even like Liv Cotton started doing at-home boxes, and all that stuff was great. And then bars started doing the pouches, cocktail pouches, which in fact we've got a talk on Thursday with about 4 of the best cocktail pouches that we've had in the pandemic. And then obviously beer, the breweries were straight to canning, straight to home deliveries as soon as they could. And it's the innovation and the quick thinking from the indies in Leeds in particular was so good.
Yeah, I think also a reflection of it was when we tried to get tickets to your other event, Chowdown, and it was genuinely easier to get tickets for Glastonbury than it was getting tickets at Chowdown, because people were just desperate, Simon, to get out. They were desperate to get out and to eat and drink with other people and to have some music playing as well. And from going down there and managing to actually get tickets, which are paid for, by the way, and I didn't get any freebies from you.
No,
it felt like,
I'd hear.
it felt nearly, well, it did. It felt like a normal event. It felt like life was normal, and you could feel, you saw and you felt people kind of lifted just in terms of being able to experience a bit of normality.
Yeah, last year when we put Chowdown at Temple Arches, it was kind of most people's first trip out from lockdown 1, actually, because this was like July for 10 weeks we did. And, it was built around the rule of 6 and the social distancing rules then, which are kind of still the same rules now. So we've kind of built it and just grown it a little bit. We've extended the areas so we can fit more people in, but still safely. And I think people generally love it because it's table service. You order your food and beer from the QR code. You don't need an app, it's a web app. So it's kind of useful. Obviously, you do need a smartphone, which some people don't have a smartphone just yet. But we're trying to figure a way of after the June the 21st, the roadmap, how we will operate. So we've got a couple of meetings next week actually about how we do operate if we continue the table service. I think people really enjoy that from the customers to the traders. But yeah, Chowdown was a massive effort, and new citizens who I run that with, they do most of the work. I essentially book the food. I've got the easy job. They run the operational side, and have been absolutely amazing how quick the Chowdown last year. It was 4 weeks from right, we're going to do something, to it being on and being safe. They put on as well. We had all the green ticks for COVID safe site, and yeah, it's been fascinating. And then this year we brought it back, and demand, I think tickets in generally across Leeds and bookings have been massive. It's not just Chowdown. That's most places sold out their first few weeks, and it's music as well, and theatre. Everything's everyone's desperate to do stuff, aren't they? And as you said, and yeah, we were looking, it was 3 to 4 minutes, I think.
Really, was it?
The people were they sold out the first lot, and they were like, we need to put the other tickets on sale, because we had Lansley with when new citizens had a strict marketing timeline, and we just had to screw that up, and just people were desperate for the tickets, so let's get it out. So yeah, we're on sale till end of June, but yeah, we'll be putting more tickets up. There is a few spare seats if anyone wants to buy. There's a comment from Nomadic Beers there saying they loved Chowdown. Yeah,
we loved it. It's just, it's a great place, and again, coming back to that issue of that positive of diversity. It's just because you have this revolving carousel of different people down there, it's just a great way for people to go and see what there is on offer in terms of particularly the street food scene, because people might not necessarily, and especially at the moment, be able to get to the different street food events because they're not on, or festivals or whatever. It's just a nice concentrated way to go and experience a little bit of what there is.
Yeah, I think, you know, we have different food every week, which is obviously a challenge for me. That's my job to worry about that. But it's just making sure we have enough food. You know, we've absolutely been slammed the last few weeks because people in the rain, you just think, oh, people aren't going to turn up, no shows, which we always encourage. No one needs to no show now. You can at least tell people, you know, there's a phone number on the Chowdown and say, look, we can't make it. So we can resell them because people are that desperate to come. But yeah, because of the rain, well, we just thought, you know, keep it cautious. But, you know, last weekend was absolutely ridiculous. It was so busy. And, you know, it's hard for me to manage the street food because I want, you know, I don't want food waste at the end of an event. And it's kind of trying to predict, who's going to eat what is quite hard. But we've got all the data. It's really boring chat, I know, but like data from the first few weeks, and it's kind of trying to predict like what people might want to eat that week, whilst not running out of food, whilst also, you know, feeding 3,000 to 4,000 people every week. It's a tough job, Johnny.
Somebody's got to do it though, mate. Somebody's got to do it. My missus took a hot water bottle last bank holiday Monday because it was freezing, and your good people down there offered to fill it up for her when it got cold. That's customer service. That's what they are.
Yeah, they are well trained on that.
Yeah.
But if you do have a hot water, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cold and wet. Mind you, not tonight. I'm just having a look. It's blue sky. Blue sky.
Yeah, it's glorious. You mentioned about things like table service staying, and then I don't know, more breweries canning things or doing it, borrowing other breweries' canning facilities. Do you think there will be some kind of permanent shift in technology or people's habits and behaviour in the hospitality industry after what's happened over the past year?
I mean, I think, Deliveroo and all the other Uber Eats and stuff. I really wish I was fairly minted and had the means to set up like an indie version, back in April last year. There was many chats about it and trying to figure out how we could do it, but it just Deliveroo service and the app and everything is just works.
Yeah.
And it's just annoying for the indies and any restaurant that uses it. It's just really expensive to use. You know, they take a big chunk of money. So I guess from that innovation, I think there is talk of some more independent style Deliveroo or delivery, click and collect stuff. But yeah, QR codes are probably here to stay. Like I said, like who used a QR code actually before, really, or found it actually useful. So yeah, I mean, technology will always be here. But yeah, table service, like I don't know if I want to go to a bar and, you know, battle out to the bar with 6 pints and walk, you know, stumble back and spill a bit. And
I love being at a bar. I love standing at a bar. I love the process of ordering when it's you and a bartender or maybe a couple of other people. Yeah. But, you know, when you're stood there and it's 5 deep at the bar and the bartender is trying their best to serve the next person in line, but it's impossible to do that because you'll always have people pushing in. They'll always miss people. Drinks will get missed, whatever, all of that. That just takes that out of it. Orders come through, they pick it and serve it in order that it comes through to the table, to the bar, and then they take it to the people. And I mean, like you say, why would you want to stand 5 deep at a bar waiting to get served and see somebody else get served before you?
Yeah, exactly. I think that I really hope that does stay, not just at Chowdown, but at other bars. Really, I just think I have no idea why no one ever did that before.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. It seems so obvious now, but
I think sometimes it just takes a big moment for people to just sit up and think, well, we've done this because we've always done this. We need to change, and actually, this is a better way of doing it. So, you know, the hospitality industry is no different to that susceptibility to innovation. You'd hope it would innovate. That's the point of change, isn't it? So let's talk a little bit about then, as we sort of go towards wrapping this up, what the future of the hospitality industry is in Leeds. As we touched on, that people are, I mean, this is an easy one to finish on. I want your 5-year, 10-year and 20-year prediction. But people, from what we've been speaking to as part of this show and the pre-records and the research, there is that sense of optimism and that sense that Leeds is really growing. A bit of a loaded question, but is it
massive loaded question there, Johnny?
Is it going to continue to grow?
thought you were a journalist, just asking me about 20 questions there. I don't know where to start on that one.
It's in a good place, right? So Leeds is in a good place right now, and it feels like, to me, it's only going to continue to get better.
Yeah, I think like as a city, we haven't lost that many hospitality, but saying that, this is the hardest bit when everyone can open. There isn't as much, I guess, financial support from the government, from the council grants that people have been getting. Furlough will stop. So this is the really telling time to see how many actually restaurants and bars we actually lose, which we don't know. There's only been a couple of casualties so far. I think the biggest name was Matt Healy's Foundry, but I don't know if that was fully. It might have done. I've not spoken to Matt, but it could have been not pandemic related because of where the restaurant was, maybe. But yeah, there's people opening and there's people looking to expand. Like the biggest opening in Leeds probably is House of Foo, which, if anyone knows, Ben Davey, who's on the TV, is going to hopefully give us a little clue as when that
Tell
might
us what
open.
Foo is, Simon.
House of Foo. Well, House of Foo started off as, that dog is really annoying me.
Yeah, I know. Are you sure it's not in your office? Because it sounds like it's on your desk.
It's not. So House of Foo started off as Foo Schnickens as a street food concept. I think it won Best Street Food back in 2015-16. And it's just been a journey to having a restaurant, basically. But it's, amazing ramen restaurant that's coming to Leeds with a few other bits. 3 floors. And I think they were hoping to open on the 17th of May, but I don't know if that's correct. But Boston Spa, I'm going to the suburbs now. There's a bit of a renaissance there. There's a Crown Hotel, which is opening soon. Cora Bakehouse, which is Liv Cottam's new bakehouse and patisserie and dining place. So there's a few things opening and people looking to expand. I think there is a bit of optimism, but again, I just encourage anyone to literally support as much from Monday. Go out and book your table and just help these guys along, because it doesn't just stop Monday. It probably starts for a lot of them Monday, the actual recovery.
I saw a sandwich board outside of Latitude Wine that said if every household spent £5 on an independent hospitality venue each week rather than the big ones, it would pump like $2.5 billion into the economy. Now, being a journalist, I'm not entirely sure of the veracity of that. I don't always take my facts from sandwich boards, but regardless of that figure, I think what it does send a message is, if you can spend money out and you can afford to spend money out, then rather than going to your big multinationals, then just maybe put a bit more thought into funneling it into the smaller guys, because they really will value that every single penny of it.
I think you've seen it. I think Tesco and Burger King, for example, the two that stick to me, have been encouraging you to shop local recently. Like Burger King did a campaign where they were sharing on their own Instagram like recommendations of indie places, and I think it was Tesco. One of the supermarkets was like saying, we've been all right in this, we've done all right, please support like your local shops and stuff. And it's nice, encouraging to see that stuff happening. And going back to like Leeds, Buy Leeds, #Buy Leeds was set up by a few people, and like before Christmas it was so nice to see everyone like supporting, from craft makers to local shops and wine shops and stuff. It was really nice to see like the whole city try and encourage people to buy Christmas presents and shop locally, and that was massive. And there's talking about open gift card was a thing that hasn't properly launched yet. Obviously they were meant to launch. So the idea of open gift card is you can spend in any shop that's signed up from the suburbs in Leeds, and I really hope stuff like that takes off. You top it up, and then I can spend it in Wayward Wines maybe, and Cafe 164 in the city centre, or and it's like, instead of gifting money to Amazon, which everyone gets an Amazon gift voucher or a Spotify gift voucher or whatever, it's like buy an open gift card and spend it in an indie.
Yeah, and if you want diversity on your high street and in your suburbs, then ultimately you're going to have to pay for that. It doesn't cost a huge amount, but you just have to make sure that you are using it now and again. If we all use it now and again, it doesn't have to be every single time, but if we all do it at least now and again, then it will maintain that diversity on the high street, which is what everybody wants, which is good for everybody. So I think we all need to just take that responsibility as well.
I think, there's a comment from Nomadic actually going back to one of the other points about table service. So I'll bring it up on screen. So step counts. It's interesting because the staff, bless them, at Chowdown walk between 35,000 and 40,000 steps a shift.
Wow. See, that gives you complete license to sit down for a good 2 or 3 hours afterwards, just eating and drinking everything you've been selling.
I mean, that's a lot of steps.
That's a lot of steps.
I don't think I've ever done 40,000 steps.
That's impressive. See, who says that modern day folk don't do manual labour? That is very, very impressive.
And in the rain sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of layers on last week. There was a lot of waterproofs and a lot of layers, and you needed it. But fingers crossed, hopefully there'll be a decent spell of weather for the rest of summer.
Again, Nomadic are on in the comments today. They've had a few sales from open gift cards. So,
good.
That was a problem that a couple of chaps came up with, and, there's a solution there, and they've got it. So hopefully more people will start using that. I think there's like over 100 businesses signed up. So you can spend it in any. You don't have to spend it all in one shop, which is great.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Speaking of great ideas, so's this TV show, which I'm very excited about. Just to bring it back to that to conclude, can we please make sure that we have plenty of food and drink in the studio as well? Because
can't guarantee that.
Mainly the reason I'm doing this, Simon, is so I can get fed for free. Please.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
We need to support these indies, so we need to pay for this stuff.
Oh yeah, I assumed you were paying for it. It's just.
I suppose everyone assumes I pay for everything. So.
Where can people watch this, Simon? Where can they see it?
Well, they're hopefully watching now. It's on. So welcome to Leeds.
This TV.
It's the same thing. So welcome to Leeds. I've obviously partnered with us. So it's on their YouTube is where I suggest you go, because obviously YouTube streaming is a little bit better than the Facebook and Twitter. But essentially, you can watch it on Welcome to Leeds YouTube, Welcome to Leeds Facebook, Leeds Indie Food Facebook, and Welcome to Leeds Twitter. But we'll be able to rewatch stuff on digitalfoodweek.co.uk. Like I said, I've just popped the baking chat from earlier on the Digital Food website. So hopefully everyone will watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, of course they will. There is, from being involved so far, there is so much to celebrate and to talk about, and I think ultimately just to be proud of as well. This is an amazing city that is so rich with food and drink, and there's live music on the show as well. We can't talk about food and drink and not talk about live music either. So we have it all here, and I'm really excited to be a part of this, because it just makes my chest swell that this is our city. It's doing fantastic things. So join us tomorrow, and we'll be talking just a tiny portion about the huge wealth of food and drink in this city. Yeah,
it's the start of hopefully documenting the city in a slightly different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that dog just wants to be on telly. Like, honestly, I'm a cat man, but that dog is he's I don't know what, he sounds very angry.
He's going to be there tomorrow. He's going to be very excited.
We'll just get him in the studio and
All right, well, go take that dog for a walk. And, let's talk food tomorrow night. Digital Food Week TV. Me, Larry Budd, Beth Parsons, Harry Johns, and loads of amazing people from our hospitality industry. Can't wait for it.
Excellent. So I guess we'll wrap up. Unless anyone's got any questions, quickly we can. If you do comment on any of the channels, we can see it. But I'll just go feed that dog.
Yeah.
I think he might be barking because there's a half a Dough Hut donut here, which I'm going to treat myself to after this stream. So I think he can smell the fresh donut here.
What one is it? Have you got it near you? What is it?
No, it's on the other side. Oh. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. All right. No questions, which is always good. But if you do, just comment on it on the old social media, and we'll be in touch soon.
Great stuff. All
Excellent.
Right. Thanks, guys.
If we do a little wave, do a casual wave. Bye.